Okay, Kareem is coming, Linda is coming. Hi, Linda. Hi, Kareem.
Hi, Linda. Hi, Karim.
Hello, everyone.
Okay. Okay.
Shall we start or give a couple of minutes?
Hello, Setan.
Hello. Good to see you, Anu. It's been a while, huh?
It's been some weeks. Yeah. You just get more and more tanned. We have a huge storm here today.
Oh. Wow.
Okay. So we are live on YouTube.
Okay, so maybe we can just start to make sure that we will have enough time at the end for questions and answers. Thank you everyone for being here today. Rodula and I, we would like to welcome you the second ServCollab live event. So we will be using this event to talk about our incoming special issue on the Journal of Services Marketing, and then maybe answer some of your questions regarding the special issue and what is fitting, what is not fitting, and all that stuff. So without further ado, I would like to invite Rodula Tisiotsu to share the presentation with you. Rodula?
Thank you, Sertan. Hi, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us today. It is a great pleasure to see many familiar faces that I haven't seen in person for a long time. So let me start with a special issue. I will share my screen. Okay, I hope you can see it. So this webinar is about our special issue in the Journal of Services Marketing titled Broadening and Reinvigorating the Service Discipline to Reduce Human Suffering and Improve Well-being. First of all, I would like to thank the two co-editors of the Journal of Services Marketing for accepting our proposal to guest edit this special issue. We have invited both of the co-editors to be here with us today. However, this was not possible due to time and some work obligations. Therefore, both of them sent us a video, which we will play, and then we will talk more about the special issue.
I spoke to your electrician and he said it sounds like the receiver has gone bad. However, we have warranty on the fan a year on the motor, but we don't have it on the receiver because anything can hit the receiver. A power surge, anything can hit the receiver. The receiver is 11,385 taxes, 9,900 plus tax. With the tax is 11,000.
We're not hearing anything.
Sorry. Let me start again then.
In a context menu is also a button to optimize video broadcast, just if you find it.
Yes, I will use my computer. Can you tell me please now?
Hi, I'm Professor Rebecca Russell-Bennett, and I'm the co-editor, along with Professor Mark Rosenbaum, of the Journal of Services Marketing. And I'm really pleased to present an introduction to the proposed special issue by Sultan and Radula on broadening and reinvigorating the service discipline to reduce human suffering and improve well-being. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Journal of Services Marketing. We are the pioneer services marketing journal, starting in 1988. We've had four sets of editors since the beginning, with myself and Mark being the latest, and the previous set being myself and Steve Barron. The positioning of the Journal of Services Marketing is that it's all about services marketing. So we don't cover the broad range of service areas. It is specifically the marketing side of services. We cover a range of different methodological areas. In fact, we are very open to different methodological areas and methods from other disciplines. Recently, we've published a viewpoint in the use of neuroscience techniques, and we have another article recently published in the use of linguistics processing. So we're very keen to see diversity in our methods. We also like contemporary topics. So this can be anything from the human condition, which certainly this special issue is all about. And that covers areas such as transformative service research, well-being, social marketing, where it intersects with services marketing, all the way through to the technology domain. In fact, in some areas where humans may not be directly present. And so we're talking about robotics, AI, chatbots, voice assistants, and the like. One of the things that I would encourage people to do is to think big and to be a bit controversial. JSM is keen to take a risk on new ideas. Mark and I recently published an editorial about sinful services, unacceptable services, things that we may not like to talk about, but are really important in understanding services marketing and also in pushing the boundaries of our field forward. So Mark and I like to think of ourselves as the risk-taking services journal. So I would encourage you all to think about different methods, to think about interesting topics, and to send your cool, new, novel ideas about broadening and reinvigorating the service discipline, specifically to reduce human suffering and improve well-being, to our special issue. Thank you and good luck.
And after Rebecca's video, we'll watch a video by Mark Rosenbaum. Mark will talk about the specifics of the special issue. Please.
Issue, discipline, human suffering, and a group of service researchers around the world
It seems to be the same problem than before. Can you see if you optimize the video or whatever you did before that it works?
I'm sorry?
It looks to be the same problems than before. I cannot see or hear anything.
I'm sorry. Okay, let me try again. I will start the video from the beginning.
Everyone, on behalf of the Journal Services Marketing Editorship,
yeah, works.
Thanks Sultan, Radula, and ServCollab for their dedication to improving consumer welfare through service research. This special issue Broadening and reinvigorating the service discipline to reduce human suffering and to improve well-being is relevant and timely. About a decade ago, a group of service researchers from around the world met at a transformative consumer research conference at Baylor University. This conference set the stage for the transformative service research paradigm. At this meeting, we urged service researchers to engage in research endeavors that would yield meaningful outcomes for consumers and communities at local, national, and global levels. ServCollab embodies the spirit of transformative service research. That is, together, we as researchers, teachers, scholars, practitioners, and students can engage in projects that improve human well-being. Perhaps you are wondering, how can service researchers improve human well-being? Think of the Earth as a dependent variable. Perhaps you can examine the role of service organizations in adopting more environmentally sustainable practices, or in governmental agencies and consumers working together towards the sustainability of life. Consider the topic of consumers who enter marketplaces with physical, social, or mental disabilities. As a research paradigm, TSR upholds the dignity of each person and believes that everyone has the right to services such as education, public transportation, insurance, banking, and healthcare. Perhaps you can explore how service providers and consumers can work together so that both buyers and sellers can obtain maximum value during exchanges. Other topics of interest include the role of services in preventing domestic violence and abuse of women and children, in stopping human trafficking, and in reducing violence in our communities. Service organizations and digital technology providers often play a role in disseminating hateful propaganda. We must realize that service organizations and the internet play a key role in promoting racism. How then can service organizations work together to point out racism wherever it exists and to promote human well-being for all of Earth's inhabitants? Finally, we must realize that service inclusion means exploring the needs of traditionally overlooked consumer groups, including consumers residing and developing in least developed nations. To all contributors of this issue, I have a request. Be interesting, be relevant, be informative, take risks. This is not an issue for replicating what is known, but rather to inform us of what we do not know. Do not be afraid to question current thought. You may want to work with practitioners to gain new insights. We want to make differences here. Be emboldened to create new theories. A decade ago, we founded the transformative service research paradigm because we wanted to change the world. We wanted to change the world through research. This special issue embodies that spirit. Engage in research that will change the world. I know you can do it. Good luck and believe in your potential. You can change the world through service research.
Sertan and I would like to thank both of the editors for supporting our idea and, of course, for supporting this webinar with their videos. And now I would like to talk for a few minutes about ServCollab, especially for those who don't know what is ServCollab and who we are. So please allow me to spend a few minutes on presenting ServCollab and its goals. ServCollab is a non-profit, organization aimed at community through service research collaborations that catalyze reducing human suffering and improving human well-being. The founder of ServCollab is Ray Fisk, a well-known and established scholar in services marketing research. ServCollab has three human rights goals: to serve all humans with research that respects their dignity and supports their rights, to enable collaboration among researchers and organizations from different disciplines and different nations to diagnose and treat humanity problems related to service systems. And finally, to seek transformative reductions in human suffering and measurable improvements in human well-being. Building collaboration with existing service research ecosystem is one of the main goals of ServCollab. And in order to achieve this goal, ServCollab aims to become a global service research network that work to solve human
Is it possible my beloved co-editor got froze somewhere over in Europe? Okay, I think Rodula got frozen over there, probably due to the internet connection or something. But then, hey, this is why we have two people presenting. So with her permission, I will try to take it over. I will bring it back to US, assuming the internet connection will be a little bit better, but you never know. So Rodula can come back later, then finish her part about the ServCollab. But just for the sake of the time, let's move to overall content of the special issue, so that Rodula can come back and then finish her presentation. Okay. Hey, we all have been to classroom, especially in this new virtual environment. As we know, stuff happens, and it's our job to make it work one way or another. So let's go to the content of the special issue. Of course, with my luck, assuming that everything will work. Do you all see this? Okay, great. So what is the background? The background is not something new. As we know, we are in trouble. You know, the humanity and the earth are facing some profound problems, wicked problems that create a lot of suffering and diminishing human experience. But as we also know, services are central to human experience. So as a discipline, as a field, services has a great potential to serve humanity by studying ways to reduce suffering, elevate human experience, and improve well-being. So that is the background. That is the main assumption that we are working with. Then the question becomes how to achieve those goals. In fact, our two editors, co-editors of the JSM in 2019, they already started talking about this. They said that, quote, the goal of elevating the human experience can be achieved by reaching out to other academic disciplines and fields and collaborating with researchers in those fields to broaden the service discipline. Not surprisingly, in their work, Ray Fisk and his colleagues in 2020, they repeated the same message. They said that for the service research discipline to make major scientific advances and reduce human suffering and improve well-being, there's a need for collaborations with scholars from other disciplines that are human-facing. So again, as you see, the common word seems to be collaboration, and also other disciplines, other fields. In fact, such collaborations would be beneficial for everyone involved. I personally, and I know that by looking at the screen, I see some familiar faces and I know their work. They do a lot of similar work with other disciplines, and the advantage is that we could find new tools, new lenses, theoretical frameworks, and insights that we can bring back to the service discipline. And by doing so, service discipline could benefit from those multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary collaborations. So that brings us to the special issue. The special issue is to broaden and to reinvigorate the service discipline by inspiring service scholars to look beyond the service discipline. So we have to look outside the service discipline for this special issue. We hope that the colleagues, they will be using theories, frameworks, and concepts from other disciplines and apply them in a service context when they discuss how we can contribute to service discipline and broaden its horizons. So this final part is a main requirement for the papers to be included in this special issue. You know, we have to make sure that we will go beyond the service theories, service frameworks to be able to be included in this special issue. I put some of the exemplary topics suitable for this special issue. Again, this is definitely not an exclusive list. We can always go beyond that. But as you see here, we have a broad range of topics. So for example, well-being, we use well-being in the service context, but then we can have some extended or refined conceptualization of well-being. Service inclusion, especially Mark mentioned that, Mark Rosenbaum, service inclusion is a very important topic. And then we hope that we will have some new approaches to service inclusion. And then it could be inclusive services for refugees or any other population that experience vulnerabilities. Inclusive language and services is an important issue. Building a new service language to better serve humanity can be an interesting issue. Human resilience, I think we all learned that human resilience is very important, and what is the role of services in developing human resilience? Intersectionality, we don't get to see or read much about intersectionality, maybe in a service context, but that would be a great opportunity to study human suffering and well-being in services context. Climate change, again, climate crisis, climate change could be another topic that could be addressed as well. Again, these are just some of the exemplary topics that you can read even more on our call for paper and the website. But as you see, in terms of the topics, is quite broad with the overall theme of reducing suffering and improving human well-being. What about the types of work that we are looking for? Is in a true spirit of JSM, empirical papers, conceptual papers, systematic reviews of the literature from other disciplines. These are all fine and acceptable for our purposes. But as both Rebecca and Mark mentioned, new contradictory work, some new ideas, new topics that challenge the existing service theories or framework, that would be well received for the purposes of this special issue. And then we are hoping that we will get some papers from authorship teams that have both scholars from the service discipline and other disciplines as well. Also, a combination of scholars, practitioners, policymakers, nonprofit organizations, and government agencies as well. So this is the time to think broadly, not only in terms of your topics, but also your collaborators as well. Literally, sky is the limit when it comes to your collaborators that you may want to include in this special issue. I tried to create a little bit of a checklist for this special issue. First of all, regardless of the topics, the themes are reducing human suffering, elevating human experience, and improving well-being. So we need to find ways to address those overall broad themes or outcomes. We need to have papers that include theories, frameworks, concepts from other disciplines. That's also another important thing to consider as well. And finally, this is the kind of X part, we don't want to see this much, using the same service literature-based theories, frameworks, just in the context of human suffering or improving. They are very valuable, and I know and I hope that we will be writing and receiving papers using that going forward. But just for the purpose of this special issue, we hope that we will go beyond that so that we can have some other approaches, other disciplines, etc. And at the end of my part, I will shamelessly quote Mark Rosenbaum. I asked him for his permission just to repeat his message. He said that, and I just repeat, be interesting, relevant, informative, and he said, take risk. That's important. And this is not an issue for replicating what is known already, but we'd rather have something that informs us of what we do not know. And finally, do not be afraid to question current thoughts. Again, this is a special issue that you can bring some new perspectives by even questioning, criticizing the current thoughts as well. And I like how he ended up his speech. As we know, Mark always is great doing these kind of speeches. He said that you can change the world through service research. And we totally agree with that statement, not only for this special issue, but also for ServCollab in general. So, we really hope that we will receive some papers that will question what we know and that will add new stuff. And hopefully, collectively, as a collaboration, we can change the world for better through our service research. So I'm not sure if Rodula is back. Rodula, are you here?
Back, yes.
You are back with your big smile. I hope I didn't mess it
up
when you are not.
How much you had, because I realized that I had a connection problem, probably a few minutes after, it happened. I hope at least I said a few things about ServCollab and everybody understood what is ServCollab. So please allow me to talk about the specifics now of the special issue. Let me share my screen again. So the key dates, as I mentioned before, and I hope it was before the connection problem. March 1st, the call was announced. Initially, the deadline was August 1st of 2021. However, we have asked for an extension. Both co-editors of JSM accepted our request because we had several emails from you asking for an extension in order to prepare papers. So the new deadline is September 30th. We have a submission window from September 1st to September 30th. We call it a submission window, although it's not official through the manuscript central system of JSM. Someone can submit now a paper. However, we prefer to receive the papers in the month of September in order for all of them to go through the review process, at least the ones that qualify. Otherwise, if you submit now a paper, you have to wait longer until September in order for us to make a decision and send it for review. According to Emerald, they're giving us the volume 36, the issue 7 for publishing the special issue. So it's very fast. It's next year, actually. And this is, I think, very, it's great because the publication is very soon. Now, in terms of the procedure, you have to read carefully the author guidelines of JSM. The author guidelines indicate that we will accept papers of 9,000 words. Our suggestion is to submit a paper of approximately 8,000 words in order after the papers go through the review process. Usually they are increasing, and we don't want to cut the papers afterwards because the editors are very strict on this. They don't want papers to exceed 9,000 words. So in order to plan, I would say effectively, we recommend that your first submission should be around 8,000 words. The standard format is Times New Roman 12 points, 1 inch margins. You submit the paper through the manuscript central system of JSM. And also, we would like to have papers that have not published before or presented somewhere else in a conference or in a webinar. Of course, you should follow the guidelines of the journal, especially on the references and the format of the abstract. This is a structured abstract. We don't want to reject papers or send papers back because they don't meet those standards. And of course, we're here to help you with your ideas, and we're available if you send us an email to ask us about the appropriateness of a paper. Of course, don't send us the full paper, just send us an abstract or discuss with us the idea, and then we will give you feedback. Both of us will give you feedback. So at this point, I think we're ready for questions and answers, right?
Yeah, thank you. Yay, we did that. So any questions, any potential comments or anything, they would be happy to handle or try to answer.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
I'm Dr. Nitin Mali from India, Maharashtra, Shivaji University, Kolhapur. I think 2 areas I found missing in your discussion. It would be probably artificial intelligence in services. AI in services would be one of the upcoming area. I think this is one thing. The other thing is services in the rural sector found to be very ignored area in much of the researches. Especially if we see agriculture sector, there are a lot of laborers who are into these services. And if something related to this rural services, I think would consider more into the well-being of human being. So I think these are the 2 areas I wanted to share with you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much for your comment. I think I hope you're safe and sound in India. We did not have any exclusive list of topics. We just tried to have some exemplary topics. Definitely AI, technology, these are all important ideas. But I think important thing, remember that's reducing suffering, improving well-being, that's important. And also if you write the whole paper around Roland Russell and Minghui Huang's latest work, which is a great work, but that is not a fit for this special issue. The idea is to bring different perspective to that topic, AI in services or the rural sector in services. Again, they could be totally fine as long as you follow what we kind of try to explain in terms of guidelines and in terms of approach and all.
Okay.
I would like to add to this, Sertan, that we, as the editors indicate, this is a services marketing journal. So we need to stick on services, not in other areas, because you mentioned agriculture, I'm sorry.
Ekaterina, she has a question on the chat. How do you look at conceptual papers? Definitely conceptual papers, just like empirical work, they're all accepted. So we don't have anything against them as long as there's a contribution and they fit to what we are looking for.
Good morning. How are you? I have a question. It's a pleasure. My name is Oscar Naranjo. I'm from Colombia. My specific question is, right now, Latin America is living like a kind of a spring. So my question is, I'm researching service context, but regarding the special issue, can I present a paper that specifically review what is succeeding, what is happening in Colombia, or do you prefer to have like cross-cultural papers that analyze different countries?
Rodula?
Yes, you mean that your paper should, your question is if your paper is context specific, like what is happening in Colombia,
Right.
if it is accepted. For us is, I would say, if this context has application probably in other areas. If it is a topic that could be applied in other areas. For example, if it is a project that treats poverty in specific areas, and this probably is applicable in other countries, yes, why not? But if it is very narrow focused and it's not applicable in other areas, probably might not be well accepted either from the reviewers because it won't be, the general, it will not be easy to propose implications, I will say, in other contexts.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Or
and also, I think you need to, as Mark said, you need to think, to take risk and try to find probably theories from other disciplines that could enrich our current knowledge and current service or marketing theories. I think this is important, and there are several disciplines like ethnography, linguistics, and other similar sociology also that have theories that so far have not been integrated into marketing theories. That would be also an interesting approach to see how we can integrate theories and propose some ideas in how to deal with either reducing suffering or improving well-being.
sure. Elena, I think you were first. You had a question.
Thank you. Thank you for both co-editors to come here. So I have a question about the data part of the paper. So I have a co-author that's also a marketing professor. We're thinking of writing a conceptual paper. However, the paper is based on my own experience working with a nonprofit, a humanitarian organization. So the question is that we are clear the paper will be conceptual, but we do have some data from this nonprofit in their own survey. So the survey wasn't designed for us, but the survey is actually from an event that I have previously attended. So the question is that, would you prefer a theoretical paper, or would you be open or prefer a paper with an illustrative case where the case is just added in a supporting role? It's not, so in a conceptual way, it's not in an analytical supporting role as in an empirical paper. I'm not sure if I made that clear.
Yeah. Rodula, do you want me to share my opinion and you can share your opinion, which
Yes,
may or
please.
may not be the same, but that's behind the scene, our own, Honestly, Elena, that's a good question. In my mind, it's all about the completeness of the contribution. And if the paper makes sense, using some data is always a good idea, but sometimes if you have a really well-developed conceptual model, conceptual framework that still makes a contribution, having an exemplary cases could enrich that framework. That would be fine, instead of using some not so well-designed study or data that does not add much value to the entire paper. That would be my take on that. I don't know, Rodula, what you say, but
I have the same opinion, Sertan, with you. We need the quality. We're looking for the quality of submissions and approaches. So it's not about sacrificing quality for quantity. As Sertan said, if there is one case but is not well-designed research, I think we would prefer to have a good conceptual paper supported by data, but if the data is not good, it's better to focus on a very good, high quality conceptual paper.
Okay, thank you. Just a quick follow-up. So in our case, we're thinking of taking part of the survey data, the open-ended part really, because it speaks to our conceptual framework really well, not the whole survey. And the other part I'm a little hesitant is that, so like I said, this paper is inspired by my own experience for more than a year working with this nonprofit. My co-author suggested maybe not to do auto ethnography, but there's a lot of things I shared in our collaboration he thought it would be useful, but I can't use it. I don't think it's proper to use them as in a rigorous ethnography paper. Would you be okay to supplement the paper with, say, some quotes or something from one of the author's own experience, if it's relevant, obviously, to the conceptual framework?
I would suggest, again, if you want to use a specific type of research methodology, just follow the guidelines to make sure that it's going to be a rigorous data, or it's going to have a rigorous finding. You know, it's very hard to make all these judgment decisions without even seeing the paper itself or any idea. But using ethnographic research, they can be all very valuable if they are done properly and rigorously. So, you know, I think that's the key word, that properly and rigorously. Then you will be the judge of your own paper, and then we will see how it goes from there.
All right.
Clear? I mean, it may not be 100% clear, as this is all very hypothetical, and so, but this is what I think I would suggest. You know, make that judgment.
Thank you,
Maria. Let's go to beautiful Rome.
Hello, everybody. Nice to see you again. And I hope to see you in person sometimes, maybe in quiz or I don't know where. By the way, I'm tired to see everybody in the screen. So my question is, when you talk about multidisciplinary collaboration, do you think I can involve also eventually an economist? I mean, in that case, means that the paper would include also a length and also a theoretical framework that will come only from marketing or service management, but also from a completely different discipline, because only in that case I can involve some colleagues that could be interested on this topic. In that case, do you think it would be accepted, the paper, or not, because it's out of the journal, you know, main issue?
Francesca, a submission is not multidisciplinary because the authors come from different disciplines. It's multidisciplinary when the approach, the frameworks that are used are integrations from different disciplines. Okay, so yes, if you include an economist in your authorship group, and you still have a marketing theory, does not make the paper multidisciplinary.
No, okay. Yes, but what I want to say, yes, yeah. Sorry.
No, is the focus of the paper and how the ideas are integrated in the paper.
Okay, yes, I'll see to interpret in a better way, in a best way, but because I have some opportunity in that direction, I'll see. I may contact you directly with a proposal, and you may give back some suggestions.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
For example, if I just may, some of you know that I can never shut up. I'm doing recently a lot of research on refugees, and I've been doing a lot of reading in service context and all that stuff. But there's a whole different field out there called refugee studies. And when you start reading on that literature, they are using different concepts, different frameworks that I did not even know before. So now I'm hoping that in my future research, I can bring some of those concepts, frameworks that we did not use in service research so far in a service context. So that would be, I think, a good example. Don't you think, Rodula? That's what we are kind of looking, bringing new ideas to our context and make it part of service discipline going forward.
Exactly, Sertan.
Thank you.
Yoshi, I see.
Yes, thank you very much for the session. Nice to see you, everybody. So for this collaboration with the other disciplines, in terms of the contribution, we have been talking a lot about how to import the concepts and frameworks from other disciplines to the service research. Is that the only direction that we're interested in? What about the opposite, exporting service concepts and frameworks to address human sufferings and human well-being in the other discipline? So your example, Satan, for example, like maybe we can contribute a lot as a service discipline by bringing concepts such as service encounter, blueprint, value co-creation and everything in refugee studies, for example. So that's my question.
Rodula, you want to take a first take on that?
I think, Yoshi, your idea of actually exporting our ideas from services marketing to other disciplines, I think is great. And somehow ServCollab, this is what it's trying to do, to integrate people from different disciplines and create collaborate projects in order to deal with certain social issues and social problems. So yes, by publishing, for example, and papers that in the special issue that come from different disciplines, this means that at some point we will also attract colleagues from those disciplines in reading our papers and also using our papers for their own research. So for us, because we have the theories, the frameworks that have been developed in marketing, and we know and we use them, but we feel that by taking a more interdisciplinary approach, probably we have a more comprehensive approach to certain issues. That's why we call for new ideas, for new perspectives, for integrative frameworks instead of just repeating what you already know. And this specialist issue, I think, will help in order to export, as you said, some also marketing ideas and frameworks to other disciplines. So it's not one way, it's both ways.
Oscar, do you have another question, or your hand is just staying raised?
No, I forget to down, sorry.
Doesn't that happen to all of us? Any other question, comments, anything? I'm just making sure that I'm checking all the screen because...
Sertan, there's one in the chat from Muslim, on systemic review.
Yeah, hi Muslim. Do you focus on systematic review only, or you allow other methods such as bibliometric. Definitely, again, in terms of methodology, in terms of overall empirical versus conceptual approach, we don't have any limitation as long as you know, they fit the overall special issue idea and themes. Again, if you just go over the service literature, let's say service design and all, probably it will not cut. But if you go and have that kind of review of a different discipline or different frameworks from different disciplines and discuss how they can fit the service context, that could be, I think, acceptable for our purposes. I wonder if I answer your question.
And also, I would like to add something because the question is about bibliometric review. Since the purpose of these special issues is to produce knowledge that has meaning and has effect, you should be careful if you prepare a bibliometric review of literature because it's very limited in terms of what it offers. So the bibliometric review of literature should be the base for producing meaningful knowledge, not just presenting, you know, stats of who is publishing, what are the citations, and everything else. We would like to see, for example, themes on a topic, how they evolve, and probably produce a framework out of this knowledge to recommend, to suggest, and not just, you know, raw data which doesn't make doesn't provide, I would say, much, and is not under the scope of this special issue.
Do I see any other question or hands up?
Is there any other question?
Okay.
Ray just jumped in, just since we're almost over, and I'm going to let you and Radula finish their time, but let me thank you for what you've contributed with discussing the special issue, and urge the audience on this Zoom call to make some new friends outside of your discipline. And most of us are in a university context, although I realize most of us have been on Zoom screens too much of our life for the last year. But if you are going to be able to be back on campus, or if you have electronic contacts with people outside of your own home discipline, most of us are coming from marketing. But if it's economics, like Francesca was talking about, or if it's health, or if it's refugee studies, which covers a lot of different areas, there's a whole bunch of areas that are doing that. There's so many human-facing service-related fields. And if each of us has met somebody who, in the hallway or on campus, that we've already been in contact with, so we know each other at least casually, that might be the beginning of a conversation. You can easily check on places like Google Scholar what they research. And this is a good time to start conversations with such people. They don't necessarily know why they should want to talk to us, but we know why we should want to talk to them. So I would encourage you to do that. And I should let Sertan and Radula take it over from there.
No, I mean, thank you, Ray. As always, you know, you give great insights and inspiration, and thank you for that. As Radula said before, if you have some other ideas, maybe more concrete questions, please feel free to check with us. You know, I don't want to speak for Radula, but you know, over the summer we will still have access to internet, to email, and all that stuff. So we really hope to get back to you some ideas or some feedback as soon as possible. So just remember that we have that open call out there. So if you have any question, feel free to reach out to us. Radula?
Yes, and also you can send, as I said before, an abstract, a short abstract. We can read, so we can get an idea what the paper is about, and then give you some feedback about its relevancy to the special issue or not. Just what we have found already that is a little bit tricky is the integration of the different disciplines and what is it considered a multidisciplinary approach. You need to be a little bit careful because already we had some people who contact us or submit papers that were in other areas, for example, in communication, but it wasn't about integrating it. It was the base of the paper. It was a communication paper, and because they saw the call for paper, they thought that, okay, this is not a marketing paper, so let's submit the paper here. This is not the case. So just be careful a little bit on this. And of course, as Sertan said, we will be online most of the time, and we will respond to your emails in due time. And since we know each other, I saw faces or pictures that we know, most of us know each other. I think we are friendly people with Sertan, so feel free to contact us and we can give you our feedback.
She can be more friendly. Sometimes I have a dark side, so you never know. So, I mean, with this being an excuse to see so many friendly faces, friends, and also some new names, new faces as well. So thank you very much for being here. We hope that you tried to answer some of your questions. And of course, big thanks go to Werner, as always. He's the technology guy behind the scenes. And of course, I mean, thanks goes to Ray Fisk. He's being the man behind the whole thing. So definitely, we are hoping that you will submit your work and then we will take it from there.
I would like to thank you for joining us today, to thank the editors of JSM, to thank Ray for supporting for this initiative, and also to thank Werner for the help that he offers us with this webinar.
And I would like to thank Rodula. She's been great so far. I'm really enjoying this collaboration with her.
You too, Sertan.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Francesca.
Bye, everyone.
I'm almost sorry to leave. Bye.